there's many compelling stories of people who recover their lives thanks to fortune. Could you just talk about
Eddie Morris story.
Okay.
Eddie Morris was a gangster. He came out of prison. He had been in jail since he was a kid. Unwanted child, abandoned, grew up in poverty. The state raised him. In and out of jail, came to Fortune. And in those days, there was no Fortune Academy, no residence. Kenny, Mel, Fran O'Leary, and myself, we were the halfway house. We always had somebody on our couch until somebody could get them into a single-room occupancy or welfare came through. And Eddie Morris was a gangster, real tough gangster, talked like this, he was from the Bronx. And I said, you can stay with me till you find something. What's the angle? I said, good enough. Kindness was weakness to guys like Eddie. And the first night there, he was up till 3 in the morning telling me his life, and it was right out of Dickens. And he stayed with me maybe for a week, but that week, because of that week, I could do no wrong in his life. He didn't understand it, but we were solid. He told me his real name was Emmanuel, but nobody calls me Emmanuel. He said, I said, if I call you Emmanuel, you'll know I'm upset. And he got shot one time, and after I knew him, I got a call in the middle of the night. The cop said, this man's been shot. He gave, the only number he had was you. I went to the hospital, I got Eddie. He wouldn't tell anybody who shot him, that was part of the code. But it was interesting that I was the only person he knew to call. I mean, that's how isolated he was. But one day we're going to a speaking engagement up in Westchester. There's about 6 guys in the car. And Eddie and I are in the front, and I said, look at the trees and how beautiful, it's autumn. And he started quoting the most beautiful poetry with his tough guy accent. And I said, what is that? He said, Lord Byron. And I said, you quote Lord Byron? And he went on and on and on reciting this beautiful poetry of Lord Byron. And I said, do you know Keats or Shelley? No, only Lord Byron. And then he told us the story that when he was 16, he was thrown into solitary confinement at Caxsackie for 6 months, and the only book there, why and how, was the complete works of Lord Byron. And he said, Lord Byron saved his sanity. He read everything that he ever wrote, knew everything about him, and said, and I always wondered, with this kind of a mind and this kind of interest, if he had ever had a shot in life, what could he have been? What could he have become? But he understood Lord Byron, and he knew that poetry, and he could recite it, and when he never got in trouble again after that. He lived in the margins of society. I'd run into him. As he got older, he looked like a John Garfield gangster. There's a picture of him in the book. He was a tough-looking, good-looking guy, but as the years went on, you could see how he wore. If you go into bus terminals or automat, well, there's no more automats, Bigfoots, and you see lonely men sitting there. Eddie became one of those guys, and he would call me occasionally. And about 5 years ago, I got a call from St. Vincent's Hospital. Eddie Morris wants to see him. And I went, and he was beyond recognition, and he was dying. And we talked, and a sad ending. His life was over early because of he never had a shot. If there had been a Fortune Society when he was a kid, maybe he would.